exam today.
National Glaucoma Research, Right Focus Foundation program offers free resources and tips for healthy vision.
Learn how to protect your sight at stopglaucoma.org.
Let me tell you about my hometown. I want the world to know about the sights to see and things to do on the Gulf of Mexico. The home of Eglin Air Force Base, the largest in the world. Test flights, rocket sites, famous proving ground. Fort Walton, that's my hometown. See Billy Bowlegs and pirate ships, they plunder and they loot. There's big blue marlin and fighting sails, plus water sports to suit. The whitest sand in all the land in the playground town are found. From north, south, east, west, all our pleasure found. Fort Walton, that's my hometown. There's Wayside Pier, the living sea, surfing at its best. It's the place that's known as the Miracle Strip, leading all the rest. WNUE, big national sound. Fort Walton,
I'll explain it later.
That's my hometown!
Can't hear the audio.
What we're doing, your daily dose of local news, community engagement, in-studio interviews with local movers and shakers, and sports and local history whenever I can squeeze it in. And we're going to be squeezing in everything today on this show. We hope you've had a great weekend. Mine certainly was action-packed. You're listening to Gareth Stearns, the nostalgia guy, your host today and every day, Monday through Friday on FM News Talk 94.3. And live streaming today via YouTube. Normally we do it through Facebook, but we're trying some new production things here in the studio, and we're going to incorporate some Zoom phone calls as opposed to traditional telephone. So going to be kind of playing around with the production side of things throughout the week, because we have a big slate of guests on deck for the week, just like we usually do, particularly on Thursday, where we're going to be joined via Zoom by our Congressman, Jimmy Petronas. He's going to be joining us in the Fort Walton Beach What We're Doing studios. So we're going to be using Coach David Weber as our guinea pig for Zoom technology here on the Fort Walton Beach What We're Doing experience. Coach Weber, of course, is the Chattahoochee baseball coach of the first team to win the district championship in the last 10 years. And it is apropos that my co-host today in studio is Mr. Brady Brooks, one of my co-hosts. And Brady is the voice of the Chattahoochee Indians baseball team. He's been just working his little took-us off all spring long. Brady, welcome into the studios, my friend.
Thank you very much for having me, Gareth. I'm excited to be here today with you back on the show.
Yeah, I was going to lead off the show with your amazing call, but we're going to save that to the 4 o'clock hour before we interview Coach David Weber for our Miracle Strip Body Shop afternoon interview segment of the day. But my dear Lord, what a call it was. What a game it was, Brady Brooks. My girlfriend was just giddy with excitement, just watching me listen to the game on my phone. And just, I have to tell you, you've been incredible all year long, but there has been a marked improvement in your play calling ability, in your cadence, in your diction and articulation. And I don't know, it was really cool to sit back and say, man, that was a really good call. Man, that was really good. You, as just an 18-year-old, your baseball mind is just through the roof. It just blows my mind.
I appreciate it. There was a time earlier in the year where Jack Morocco ended up scoring on a walk-off. He kind of got in this weird situation, and the play was very sudden, and I let my voice kind of go up an octave, and I lost it. And so I told myself, it's one of those things where you put the head down, get back to the sideline, look at film, see how you can get better. And I think I was able to be perfectly uncomposed, but composed at the same time. It's about letting your emotions get to you, but not letting them run you off course. And Gareth, that game was full of emotions. It was 4 hours long. up and down. We were getting no hit until the 5th inning. It was just all over the place, and I didn't know that Frank could actually. I thought we were going to go off the air for the people that weren't listening. There's kind of a time slot we set before, and I thought that was something that had to be controlled at the studio, and Frank put in a time slot, and once we ran over, then we ran over, and obviously the usual 7 innings was exceeded. They played 10 innings of baseball, but Gareth was able to come to the rescue and get in contact with Frank, and I guess he could control it mobily.
I would like to say that I really think, as much as we love Frank, he actually came clean that night. He didn't press the proper button that would have cut it off. So I think we would have had dead air had you cut it off in time. I didn't find that out until. Either way, it worked. There was no cutting off of the game. It went completely through. 4 hours is long for a Major League Baseball game, let alone a 7-inning high school game without national television commercials and whatnot. But man, it looked like it was going to be over there for the Indians quite a bit. And I don't know, just like this entire season, that game was a microcosm of the entire season. They just found a way to chip at it and have the result be a good one.
And I can't wait to play that audio of the call. And, I've seen it quite a bit. Every time I'm going around, it seems like every class I go into, I have a baseball player who's listening to the call. And I've kind of done that with big moments in the game. I keep the game on my phone, which I think that'd be a good thing to do next season, is I keep it up. And since there's like a 15-second delay, and I meant for you guys for football, every time something big happens, I start a screen recording on my phone, so it follows the whole play through, and then after the game, I get the clips from the players, and then I'll sync the audio and the clip together, which we were able to do against the Eagles because they had a broadcast going, but it's been pretty cool, so I'll send players like their highlights. I got Seth Young's 2-run single to take the lead in the 5th inning. I got Isaiah Roan's sac fly to take the lead in the 6th. I got Carter Morocco's double to lead off the 9th inning. I have Jack Morocco's walk-off, of course. So that's been pretty cool for me, and I think the players like it as well.
I know that Coach Weber has to love it. I mean, what a year for baseball to be brought back onto the air. I mean, back onto the air. I don't know if it's ever been on the air.
I don't think Choctaw baseball has ever been.
So what a year to choose to put it back on the air. I keep saying that. But first district title in 10 years. Was it 21-5 now on the season?
22-5 now.
Wow.
We finished the season 20-5. This is the first time that I can find in recorded history that the Indians won 20 games in a 25-game regular season. So certainly historic. And now it's postseason ball, so it's a little different. We'll talk about the format of how the playoffs work when Weber comes back more in depth. But all you got to know is this will be the last time it'll be a 1-game series. It's this Friday, 7 p.m. round 1.
Well, let me ask you this. I know that South Walton advanced, and they are in our division in our district in football. Is there any scenario? There's no scenario where
same thing today, and I was saying, thank the Lord, we do not.
And the reason being, they have one of the top players in the country in Coleman Borthwick. He's there. He hasn't allowed a run since his sophomore year. His strikeout to walk ratio is like 5-1. Might even be more.
He was sent to represent Team USA in Japan this summer and won MVP of the entire tournament of all the best players of high school and all the countries in the world. He pitched, I believe, 3 2/3 scoreless against the Indians and went 1 for 4 offensively my freshman year. That was the last time we played South Walton. They lost to IMG Academy by 1 run earlier this year. That was a really good game. South Walton's really good. We won't have to play Niceville, who swept us this year. We won't have to play South Walton. The toughest guys that we would have to get to are Jesuit. They're the one in our class right now. We fell again, another spot in our class. Luckily, it doesn't really mean anything because the only time you'd have to travel is once we get past the Elite Eight, in which we're already all playing in the same complex. But Jesuit's got some guys. Right now, we're just focused on Friday, though.
Man, we'll talk about that and more here on Fort Walton Beach, What We're Doing, your daily dose of local news, community engagement, in-studio interviews with local movers and shakers, sports and local history. In the next segment, we're going to bring in our good friend Michael Tucker via Zoom. We're going to break the seal on that technology here on Fort Walton Beach, What We're Doing. Be right back to pay off some of our sponsors. Stick around.
Your local
Carrier experts, Mills Heating and Air, are giving back in a big way with our 2026 Neighbor in Need giveaway. We're gifting a free HVAC system to a deserving member of our community. Know someone facing tough times? Nominate them today. Call 862-4796 or visit millshvac.com. Nominations end May 1st. License number CAC 1821128. Carrier for the world we share.
Hey, Emerald Coast, ready to chow down on mud bugs? Join Marine Max for their Boats and Boil Customer Appreciation Event on Saturday, May 9th from 11 to 3. Come check out the latest Grady White boats, built for adventure, powered for the Gulf. And while you're here, grab a plate. We're serving up over 500 pounds of fresh, delicious crawfish, so bring your appetite and your crew. Boats, crawfish boil, and good times. It's all happening at Marine Max at Fort Walton Beach on Highway 98 across from Whataburger. Don't miss it, May 9th, 11 to 3. Marine Max at Fort Walton Beach, where your next adventure begins.
In a world of uncertainty, you have to be able to depend on your bank. For almost 100 years, Mid-South Bank has been providing sound banking relationships with all.
So what are you calling tonight?
We treat you like family. We smile when
Pryor's
we greet
flag
you.
football
We
game.
do everything possible to help you. It's nice to know you can depend on your bank to be there
Or
when you
games,
need us.
maybe, I don't know. They
And
play
we
multiple
will.
games in that.
Mid-South Bank. Community banking the way it should be. With a smile. Find out for yourself at one of
That
our
game last night was
convenient
also on
locations
NBC
or by
if you didn't have
visiting
Peacock. I don't know if you have cable or
bankmidSouth.com.
not.
They had NBA basketball on NBC.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Their inspiration for the
On
restaurants
YouTube
from
TV,
best and
I could
wonderful
find it on
stops.
NBC.
Or rather, what
Unless
lies
maybe I went to, like,
beneath
NBC2
that popular
or
fishing
something
spot with a
without
continental
knowing.
shelf drops just a few miles off the coast. The Edge focuses
Yeah.
on fresh.
I mean,
local
it's still a
seafood
vast
and
improvement,
supporting our
though.
local
Yeah, there's only going to be
fishermen.
22 games where that's effective this year.
Yeah,
Let
we
them
went.
cook
Yeah,
it
we
for
got
you
like
and
20 or
family
30 more
style. Try
games
one
this
of
year
the
than you get
signatures
with like
of the
MLB
dishes
TV
offered
and
on
blackouts.
the best view of the Destin Harbor, the Edge Seafood Restaurant. Online at edgeseafood.com.
And welcome back to Fort Walton Beach. What we're doing, your daily dose of local news, community engagement, in-studio interviews with local movers and shakers. And we're going to move and shake on over to the next room where I'm joined by my sometimes co-host, Michael Tucker. He's actually joining me via Zoom because we're testing out this new technology here in the studio as we try to improve the show every single day. Michael Tucker, are you hearing me and are you coming through, sir?
I hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I don't hear
Nothing?
him. I don't hear him, RJ.
Okay, I unmuted it and it's still not.
All right, so test number one is strike one for test number one. As they work through those
This is your only
things,
audio. You're not using that one. Okay.
It may be a connectivity issue on the microphone there. I don't know. I don't want to work through my inner monologue on the air, so we'll figure it out in the next break. But yeah, so
we're trying to get the show and get ready. We're working on
Murdoch in studio today, and he is the
over
owner and
there,
proprietor
and he's
of
not
Emerald
hearing what's
Cruise
coming to the
TV.
Zoom.
And
That's why he can't hear
we
you
are
right
going
now.
to be
Yeah,
in the future
So I'm
utilizing his studios downtown. He's got a great little studio.
So we're gonna have to do that.
Different little stages, and he's just here in studio where we normally broadcast with a whole bunch of equipment. He's got a 360 camera that we and Brady are testing out, and we're trying out the Zoom technology as well. Reason being is we're going to have Congressman Jimmy Petronas regardless on Thursday, whether it's phone or Zoom. If we can do Zoom and incorporate that into our video live stream, that's what we would ultimately like to do. And so we're just doing a little testing of that Zoom technology right now with Michael Tucker, and it doesn't look like attempt number one was successful. But
I would highly suggest watching the YouTube live stream if you can. It used to be just like a play off the Facebook live stream, but now that we have this camera, trying to not sound too obsessed with myself, it is really, really cool to be able to like flash back and forth. This is a huge upgrade.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really cool. Despite some of the hiccups, and I can see RJ in there with like the hamster wheel inside his brain trying to figure out, okay, how do we get the audio from there to here? And while he works through that, let's go ahead and talk about our Okaloosa County our local weather report for Monday, April the 20th, brought to you by Okaloosa County Commissioner Sherry Cox. And I happen to grab the one for the 18th. Let me make sure this show is just off to a great start. I don't think I updated the date, but we're good. Breezy and mild across Fort Walton Beach this afternoon at 3 p.m. Temperatures are in the mid-70s with northeast winds 15 to 20 miles per hour, gusting higher behind that cold front that moved in last night. Skies are staying partly cloudy and dry through the rest of the day. Tonight, expect a low right around 60 degrees under continued northeast flow. Over the next 48 hours, winds gradually ease with highs in the mid-70s Tuesday, warming to the upper 70s by Wednesday as conditions calm down. The bottom line, cooler, breezy today, then a steady warm-up and lighter winds through the midweek. And that's your local weather report brought to you by Okaloosa County Commissioner Sherry Cox. Rain, wind, or sun, Commissioner Cox gets it done. Thank you for your support of this program, Ms. Cox. One of these days, we're actually going to have to get you into the studio. Lots of exciting things going on in the studio right now. In the other room where Brady or one of us usually sits is Michael Tucker and R.J. Murdoch trying to figure out how to get our Zoom technology to work. I'm joined in this room. No, I'm normally lonely inside this room, but today we've got a cool 360 camera set up so that if you're enjoying our live stream, basically if I'm talking, the camera faces me, and then it picks up on movements and voice recognition. That Brady starts talking, it shifts to him. Yes. So lots of cool little things that are going to be incorporated. We're also going to be able to include graphics, like we'll be able to flash our phone number, or if you're a sponsor of the show, you'll be able to have that on there as well. Really, the listening experience, if you're traveling through town, picking us up the terrestrial way on FM 94.3, it should come through as seamless as it normally would. We're just trying to enhance the viewing experience for those that want to check us out on the live stream. So now you're caught up. If you'd like to give us a call, we have an open line, 850-374-3468. Again, that's 850-374-3468. Gareth Stearns and Brady Brooks in studio today, and eventually Michael Tucker might be able to join us. We're going to figure that out in the next break or so. If not, you actually, Brady, aren't staying for the whole show today. Your senior year. Let's talk about this senior year. Okay. So just a few months ago, you wore the third headset with me and Kevin doing the Choctaw football games. And Choctaw had its best season that it's had in, I don't know, a generation or so. And we got the monkey off our back, traveled to St. Augustine and defeated them. Ended up losing in the Final Four to the eventual state championship. No shame in losing to American Heritage. And then we had a really big outcome in the Fort Walton Beach basketball game with Choctaw, with Camry Johnson and his buzzer beater. What a great start to the season for Choctaw Athletics. Yes, sir. And then you decided to take it upon yourself to become the voice of the Indians baseball team. Indians baseball has never been on the air, and we brought it to the masses, and they have tuned in. And it's, with football, there's only 10 football games. With baseball, this is your, 27th?
We're going on our 28th.
28th. That is a lot of work, Brady.
Yes.
There's setup involved, there's logistics, there's variables that you've never... how many new baseball stadiums did you have to go to this year and kind of figure it out as you went?
Man, I think definitely the most fun was, you got to say, Pensacola Blue Wahoo Stadium. I've never been there before. Well, I did, before I was a baseball guy, and the family just kind of took me. But it's a beautiful stadium. If you've never been, I'd go. It's like condos out over the left field wall. And in center field, you can see the Pensacola Bridge. In right field is just the water. It's a beautiful stadium. So getting in there was nice. And I went a little early before they opened up through the admissions office. So I told a little white lie, and I was like, hey, I'm with the team, so I got to get in early. And they walked me through the tunnels where the teams come in and where their dressing rooms are. And I go in through the concourse and onto the field in Pensacola, and the team's taking BP. And I'm just talking with the guys, and I almost set up at the end of the dugout, because those major league dugouts, they are like 40, 50 feet long of just like straight, it's so much room. But there was no outlets there, and there was no outlets anywhere in the bowl. So I had to go like onto the concourse, buy a water fountain, and use an extension cord. But the view I had there,
we need to separate the Zoom
in a mercy rule against Freeport, and that
put
was
another
number
application
8
in the
or
middle
9
here.
of our 10-game win streak. Going to the Tallahassee game was fun. We played against Childs, which they're the number 3 ranked team in Florida in all classes, and that was definitely the toughest team we had on our schedule. That was a pretty cool just experience to drive that far. It's it's really cool, and hopefully the next time we drive that far is to Fort Myers, I think it is, where the Final Four in the state championship game will be held, or games, both 3-game series. Just all the stadiums have been really cool. It's kind of a challenge, looking for the outlets. And Gareth, we had the pleasure of, in football, there was a press box at every stadium. So you kind of knew what you were getting into in a sense. And you'd walk in there and you'd find the wall outlets and you'd see where you have to set up. But with baseball, a lot of the times you just try to see how long your extension cord is, and you have to adapt. So like for the Niceville game, for example, I wasn't watching the game behind home plate. I was watching it on the far side of the first base dugout. So I couldn't give my opinion on balls and strikes, which I'm sure the home plate umpire was very thankful for because I'm not very merciful. And just adapting like that has been really cool. But Choctaw it's definitely my favorite stadium. I got the people that know me there. I get compensatory concessions. I got a perfect plug-in spot, a perfect view. It's definitely been awesome.
I know that they love you, and I know that they really appreciate you. You can feel it in the comments that you receive on Facebook, and it's coming across in the air. It's really incredible to hear the growth and maturation in your voice. I've gone from at the beginning of the year saying, wow, I'll be able to really write a good letter of recommendation for this young man as he enters the college realm. And now I'm sitting here wondering if you need to write me a letter of recommendation.
No, not quite. Baseball's definitely been fun. And at the beginning of the season, it didn't seem like there was something that I could improve on necessarily, something I was aiming for. But it's really cool when you spend that many reps and pitches and innings just kind of sitting through and just talking. There's a lot of things that you pick up on yourself and listening back, the tendencies you have and the tics you have. And working on it, it's something that intrigues me. So there's been like a second art inside of it for sure. And here we are, 27, going on 28 games deep now. Hopefully we play somewhere around 35. But yeah, it's been really fun. And this team, they're really good. They haven't lost to a 4A baseball team all year. The only losses they have were one to Holmes County, who we ended up beating in the second matchup. It was just kind of a slump they were on. One to Childs, who, like I said, they're the third-ranked team in the state of Florida, and you're probably not going to beat them. Not even the best team in 4A is ranked that high. Two to Niceville, who are just monsters. They're a top 25 team in Florida. They're really good. And then the last loss we had was to New Albany out of Kentucky, and we were playing 3-4 games a week, and it was in 9 innings, and we lost by 2. It was a 10-8 score. Uncharacteristic for a pitching staff that's been so good, but you have games like that, you got beat, and this team they don't get blown out. They're never counted out. They have close wins, they have comeback wins, they have blowout wins. They're really good.
I think the thing that really impresses me about your delivery, your play calling style, is just that your storytelling. You clearly have relationships with these players and with the coaching staff, and you're not starving for information between at-bats or even swings. They come right up to the plate. You know what their average and statistics have been up through this point in the season. You have a little quip or idiom about each one of them, and there's a really great flow to it. It really is very cool to listen to, Brady.
Yeah, it's been really cool for me, and obviously I know kind of what the optics are as a player. It's like, man, I'd love to be broadcasted in baseball. And like my dad tells me growing up, like they play games in like middle school and they love to see their names in the newspaper because they used to do that. So I kind of like to give that small town, big time feeling to the players and the coaches. And that comes with the post-game show that's always brought to you by the Outdoor Brothers. We interview the players of the game. And they really love having that opportunity. It was so fun with like Jack Morocco, for example, who played most of the game on one knee, and he came in and he limped to second on a game-winning bases-clearing double. And me and Trevor Camden ran over to the dugout, and we picked him up, and we carried him over to the desk so he could finish the post-game interview. But it's really cool. Having relationships with these guys is probably the coolest, and them all being my friends, it makes it that much easier to root for their success. I'm not scared to admit I'm a big homer, and if you listen to the broadcasts, I'm sure it doesn't take you long to pick it up. But I'm just really excited to see how far they can go. And there's really cool storylines for them in this postseason too. So, we're just going to keep bolstering the hype around this team as we go into the interview with Weber and as we go on with the show.
Yes, sir. And if you'd like to be a part of the show, 850-374-3468. We're going to be joined in the 4 o'clock hour by Choctawhatchee baseball coach David Weber to talk about his district championship winning team, the Choctawhatchee Indians. For Walton Beach, what we're doing is going to step away and pay off some of our sponsors, but please don't go anywhere. Gareth and Brady and Michael Tucker will be right back. Okay, so what was the problem? What was I doing wrong?
You weren't doing anything.
Fox News,
Okay.
I'm Tom
It's just the fact that our output from Zoom is going
from the
regularly.
U.S. and Iran. Pakistan once
into
again
the,
hosting. Fox's Matt Finn is in Islamabad. On the
To the
ground
board.
here, security
Uh-huh.
But
is
you're not-
tightening for the anticipated
you're not
second
hearing-
round of peace talks
you
between
can't
the
hear
U.S.
it
and
because
Iran.
it's
A
giving
red
you
zone
feedback.
perimeter has been formed.
Okay,
We have
so-
a busing issue going on around.
Negotiations
So will that be the
are
case
expected to
for
take
anyone
place.
trying to
Stars are
Zoom
scheduled for
and
Tuesday.
Zoom?
At this exact moment, yes. Can I solve the issue before the 4 o'clock? I guess that's
4:15.
4:15.
Yeah.
Yes, possible.
Okay. Well, I mean, we've got his phone number, so we can. It's not like we won't be able to do an interview via the phone anyway. But
True.
if we can troubleshoot a solution, it'd be great. We have about 4.5 minutes before we go back on the air. When we do go on the air, can you do the surf report?
I don't know. My stuff doesn't work.
So-
Or it does work,
Well,
but you can't
right
hear
now,
me.
because he's got the Zoom call mic, not that mic. That
Right,
mic's not
right. That
mine.
mic's not going to work, as Frank said.
Right.
It's a closed loop or whatever.
However, yeah, and it won't. The
So
cam-
YouTube can
the
hear.
Zoom won't switch
I
the
couldn't
cameras
hear
to his because if we mute the audio and just use that mic, it doesn't know to switch it.
Right,
So
right.
he'd have to have his mic turned on, which you can do, but just have your volume on your phone down, and that should work because you're hearing on headphones anyway. So it might be the solution for this right after this break if we want to try to do
Why would he even need headphones? Could he not just hear the audio from his phone's microphone speakers anyway?
Will it do a mix minus? Is what you're saying? You can't hear him. He can. I was watching the YouTube. I was listening to YouTube. I heard him come on.
Oh, you did? Oh, but I didn't hear him. Okay.
Right, exactly.
Okay, got you. All right. Huh. All right, well, don't let me get in your way of whatever you're troubleshooting or trying to figure out. Why couldn't I hear him?
What we're trying to do here is take this and turn it into that,
That way.
or else we get that.
Oh, wait, is it my finger that's
No.
broken? Brady ain't got time for all this tomfoolery, does he?
What are we doing? What's the plan?
Plan is to go back to normal. You could swap out seats temporarily. And bring him on in here and work on here.
I don't need to be in here, and I'm the bottom
But that way
of the
you guys can talk.
Oh,
Well, yeah.
is he going bye-bye?
After at 4:30, yes.
Okay. Yeah, I don't feel like I need to be on
Okay.
air other than
Tomorrow?
to help troubleshoot. So
Can you come? Can you do it tomorrow?
Yeah, but I'm going to stick around.
All right,
as
cool.
long- Yeah, I don't care about being on air. I'll do whatever I got to do behind the scenes to help.
All right, you the man.
I'm going to leave this door open so y'all can breathe.
Yeah, thank you. It's stuffy in here.
See, if you asked me to talk about baseball last year, I would have been pretty agitated, but this year's a lot smoother so far.
Let's see here. Where would I find that call on Facebook? Because I didn't save it to the computer.
I can send it to your phone number.
No, because I can't access it via my phone. Like, you can email it to me.
It should be on my page, my last post.
Okay, Brady.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, here we go. All right, so we'll just come back from break to that.
The video or the audio, so I can come and go in that way if I want, right?
That's correct.
Here's your surf report, man.
Thank you, bud. Appreciate it.
Yeah, we're going to stick around for a little bit and see if we can be of any kind of assistance to
Okay.
them. How much time you got till you go back on?
26 seconds.
Well,
Actually, probably 16.
For the first time in forever. It feels like first time in forever. 10 years. Man, what a call by Brady Brooks Friday night at Andy Snaith Baseball Complex. Was the district championship game?
District championship game.
Against the Escambia Gators. The Indians had trailed for most of the game. They managed to tie it up. They sent it into extra innings. Looked like they might lose in extra innings, and then... I mean, you want to narrate it for them?
Yeah, well, this is a big game because the Gators are two-time reigning district champions, including last year when they beat the Indians 7-1 in the district championship game. This was big because the first three batters of the game for Escambia went single, three-run homer, and it was off of a guy that hit a homer on us earlier in the year. So the tone was set, and from then the offense really never got anything going. With 2 outs in the fourth inning, we had our first hit of the game. It was a double, and then an out right after that. So it was a sputtering offense, but the pitching was locked in. Trevor Camden pitched a complete game against this team and struck out 9 hitters, which was just really good the first time he faced him in 93 pitches. And when he gave up the single and the homer, you start thinking like, oh no, do they have his number? You know, they faced him for 7 innings, and it's a thing in baseball. When you see guys, you start to figure out their arm slot, their pitches, and you start to hit them. But after he gave up those 3 runs, he struck out 12 hitters, 3 more than he struck out in his complete game against them earlier in the year. Threw 4 more pitches. He ended up pitching 6 innings, only gave up those 3 runs. I think he gave up 1 or 2 more hits for the rest of the game. Struck out 12 hitters. I think the Indians ended up using 4 or 5 pitchers during the course of the game. But yeah, that 5th inning was huge. It was with 2 outs and nobody on. Maddox Gentry doubled. Blake Peters was able to bunt and then take second after the play was over because they weren't paying attention, trying to get the ball back to the mound. Carter Morocco hit a ball into right field. It was a 2 RBI single to make it 3-2 for Escambia. Jack Morocco came up, singled, and that put runners at second and third for Seth Young, who had a 2 RBI single up the middle and made it 4-3 Choctaw. Then in the 6th inning, both teams scored a run, so it was just 5-4 Choctaw. And then in the top of the 7th, Maddox Gentry had only pitched 1 inning in the year so far, came in to pitch and unfortunately blew the save. That 3-hole hitter for Escambia who hit 2 home runs on us the year was the one that ended up coming up to tie it. He was a threat, and he ended up getting us, and Choctaw went scoreless in the 7th, sent it to the 8th inning where both teams scored a run, of course. The 9th inning, Escambia didn't score. Choctaw had the bases loaded with no outs. All they needed to do was scratch across a run to win, and they didn't. That felt like the pendulum completely swung to Escambia's direction. Of course, bases loaded, 2 outs for them in the top of the 10th. They'd already scored a run, and Jordan Figueroa makes his first error of the year. It was against that same dominant hitter who Garrett Meggs, as a sophomore and a pitcher. He doesn't have the Jack Morocco velocity, but he has done so good this year at pitching. He ended up jamming him inside. Easy ground ball to second. Figueroa bobbled it, and they went up by 2. And then it felt like it was really over. Before the 4, 5, 6 hitters, or the 7, 8, 9 hitters came up in the bottom of that inning, John Brown singled to left center, Maddox Gentry singled to left center, and then Blake Peters had a bunt single to load the bases with 1 out. Carter Morocco lined out very hard to left field to start the inning. And then Jack Morocco came up, cleared the bases, 3 runs scored, and it was a 9-8 victory for the Indians. And with the score being 5-5 going into extras, that means 8 of the games, 19 runs came in extra innings.
Wow. And so the next game for Choctaw will be at home at the Andy Snaith Baseball Complex this Friday night?
Yes. So the awesome thing is, and I don't think I can find a trackable record on this, but Choctaw actually won the Region's 1 seed, which was at risk if they were to lose to Escambia on Friday, because Escambia's at the 7th seed, and losing to a team like that, you certainly risk falling back. And even playing a game that close, the Indians fell back 1 more seed in their class, but it's okay. So since they have that regional 1 seed, just like in football, we have home seed guaranteed until we get to the Final Four. Unlike in football, the neutral site games are already decided for the Final Four and the state championship games. They're all in the same place. I believe it's a complex in Fort Myers, if I'm not being mistaken.
Way far away from here.
Yes. So either way, if the Indians, and it's bigger than last year too. So, for example, in a best of 3 series, we played St. Augustine last year. Monday, since Choctaw got home field, they had 2 home games. It was Monday at Choctaw, Wednesday at St. Augustine, Friday at Choctaw, which is very inconvenient in every way imaginable. Travel, obviously, the teams that traveled that day had to miss school. Finances, I'm sure, through the roof. So now the games will be game 1s will always take place on Friday at 7 p.m., just like this game will. Game 2s will be Saturday evening at 1 p.m., and then if a game 3 is necessary, they will use that as game 2 of a doubleheader on Saturday. It will take place about 30 minutes after the first game ends.
Exciting things on deck for the Choctawhatchee baseball team. And we're going to have Coach Weber. He's waiting on deck in the 4 o'clock hour. He's going to be joining us. We were going to have it in the 3 o'clock hour, but Choctaw baseball team is at practice right now.
They are at practice. They're working hard, certainly hardly working. Yeah, a lot of them were trying to make their case for it after the game as they were hoisting the trophy. They were like, Coach Weber, thinking about giving us a little day off. I know Blake Peters for sure, he jokes about it, but apparently he was going back for that home run Escambia hit in the first inning, and it never got 20, 25 feet off the ground. It was hit on a line, and he was running back at the fence, and he agreed with me on this. Had he known in his mind where the ball was going to go and he had a chance to redo it, he would have been able to get over the fence to make the catch. But as he was running back, he claims Carter Morocco said wall a little bit too late. So Blake Peters ran shoulder first into the wall, and he says that the next morning he found it very, very difficult to get up, and his shoulder's still a little sore. So they're all certainly sore, I'm sure, but with Baker County announced, we're facing a pitcher whose perfect game account says that his fastball gets up to 90 miles an hour. So they certainly got some stuff to work on, and this is the most threatening because in baseball, it's anything can happen, and in a one-game series especially, it's just a matter of who woke up on the right side of the bed.
Very true, very true. You have a very good way with words, Brady Brooks. Do we know if Choctaw's ever played Baker County before?
I don't know, but I guarantee my friend GPT can help me with that.
And do we know what's Baker County's record this year?
Baker County's record. I will look it up. Just to be clear, this is not the same Baker County that is in Baker, Florida.
Right. This is over kind of in the Jacksonville area.
Yes.
So they got a bit of a commute to get here.
About 5 hours away. Choctaw did play Baker this year and beat them. Carter Morocco hit a grand slam in that game. Baker County this year finished with a record of 15-12. They went 1-1 in their district. And by the looks of it, they're not a long ball team. And this was my guess. With a pitcher like that and a record like this, you start thinking that the offense is kind of the problem here. They didn't have a hitter with over 30 RBIs. I believe we had 2 or 3. They only have 2 homers on the year. So I think what we're going to see here is just going to be how's the offense going to be able to catch up. I talked with Seth Stringer, who made his first appearance at a baseball game for Choctaw this year. And I told him before the game it's going to be the pitching's going to be fine. The bullpen's great. The rotation's great. It's all about how the offense is hitting. And that was really the deciding factor is when we put up 9 runs.
Okay. All right. Well, if you are interested in catching Brady on the radio, it's our sister network, 103.7, The Sports Ticket. It will be the 28th time that he has broadcast a baseball game in the last, month and a half or so. It seems like the season just began. You're doing a great job. I think you've still got a couple slots left for some postseason sponsorships. So if you're and I tell you what, these games have a lot more breaks in them than football games. So if you want to have your commercial played with a lot greater frequency to a program that locals are definitely tuning into and not changing the channel from, then reach out to Brady.
I will say that it's getting to a point where we're about to have to start traveling, and I do take a lot of days off work to call these games. So the good news is this is the cheapest prices you're ever going to get. I mean, these are 1-game sets, 2, 3-game sets. So anything you'd like to give, sponsorships, I can make it work. Y'all know my Facebook. Contact me, and hopefully just listen in for free as well, because that's a completely viable option.
That's what radio does best. You just tune the radio dial, and it's a free resource, manna from heaven. And for Walton Beach, what we're doing gives it to you all the way until 5 o'clock. Here on FM News Talk 94.3. We have an open phone line, 850-374-3468, if you'd like to join in on the fun. Gareth Stearns and Brady Brooks will be right back. Don't go anywhere.
All right, I have to ask you a serious question.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever turn on that mic?
Yes. Yeah. Basically, it's on when Brady is.
It's a completely separate channel.
Well, I don't think so, because I couldn't hear him. I couldn't hear him through until I pushed it on, until I turned it on.
You could hear who?
I could not hear Brady in here through the headset or anything unless.
I'm talking about that mic over there. That there's no mic on it, but that's where the output of the Zoom is going into that mic over there.
Oh, so can we just switch that mic to that one then?
But then you're not going to hear your Zoom call. We need to hear it from the Zoom.
So I don't know what you're asking me to do.
I'm asking you to turn that, whatever that mic is, live. Yeah, so if you're going to turn him on, you'd be turning that one on, right?
Right.
How would you turn that
but
one
I
on?
did that before, and I didn't hear him.
So which one is it?
This one. Like if I turn it on, they'll hear.
Which one is he?
Same.
No, this was okay. So you only have 2 inputs.
Yes, that's what Frank was telling me before. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's the. So let me do a quick solve on that.
Okay. All right.
How much time we got?
1 minute. But the next break will have 6 minutes.
I get my gear.
And welcome back to For Walton Beach, what we're doing. Your daily dose of local news, community engagement, in-studio interviews with local movers and shakers, and sports and local history whenever I can squeeze it in. And who am I? I'm Gareth Stearns, the nostalgia guy, the host of this show, every Monday through Friday from 3 to 5 p.m., here on FM News Talk 94.3. Also live streaming today through my YouTube page. And we're joined in studio by a couple friends of ours. Mr. Brady Brooks, voice of the Choctawhatchee Indians baseball team. District champions for the first time in 10 years. And we're going to be joined by Coach David Weber of the Choctawhatchee baseball team in the 4 o'clock hour. We also have our good friend Michael Tucker in studio, kind of wandering around and checking out all the production sides, ins and outs of things. Believe it or not, there might be a day sometime where I might be sick or have to go do something for my family or something like that. I got to train up my replacements, and that's what Michael Tucker's doing is learning through osmosis today. If you'd like to be a part of the fun, 850-374-3468. Your Okaloosa County Surf Report for Monday, April the 20th. Small wind-driven conditions across the Emerald Coast this afternoon. Northeast winds 20 to 25 knots with offshore seas running 4 to 6 feet and near shore around 2 to 3 feet. But that strong northeast wind is pushing energy offshore, so at the beach, surf stays flat to around 1 foot. Choppy and disorganized with no clean swell. And in the next 48 hours, winds ease slightly and turn more easterly, allowing a minor bump to maybe 1 to 2 feet, but conditions stay mostly wind affected. And that's your Okaloosa County Surf Report, brought to you by Bud and Alley's Restaurant in Seaside. Thank you, Dave Rauschgaub over at Bud and Alley's. 40 years deep, still riding the same local wave. Brady Brooks, welcome back into the studio, my friend.
Thank you very much. I'm back. I had to take a quick break to figure things out internally.
Yeah, no, I get that. I hope everything came out all right.
Everything went smooth as butter.
Oh, good to hear. Good to hear. Major League Baseball. I'm glad that you're here. I've missed you. I don't really talk as much sports with my other hosts because every co-host has their own specialty, whether it's local history or local governance or whatnot. So I really feel like I can get my money's worth baseball wise from you. And we don't like to be defined by any one thing in this show. That's kind of the specialty. So I'm going to take advantage of all of my co-hosts' specializations. And you are a big-time, passionate fan of baseball. You and I both are big fans of the Atlanta Braves. Let's talk about this incredible start the Braves have had on this season.
Let's talk about it. It has been so refreshing to see Braves baseball the way it was at the first half of 2024 is the last time I can remember it before they started going through the injuries. Last year, of course, the go-ahead farewell season of Brian Snitker and the injuries there in the rotation especially. And then, of course, the offense started going down with like Ozzie Albies, Austin Riley, Ronald Acuna all injured. But, man, what a great season this has been. The off-season additions of the coaches have probably been the least noticed things, but our starting rotation has our entire pitching. We have the lowest team ERA in the sport, which is not something that you really ever hear the Braves associated with. It's been offense since probably about 2018 when the Braves went on those 5 straight division titles. It's been how good is their offense, but the pitching has been really, really good. A huge shout out to the coach that we got from the Mets. I can't think of his name right now, but he's our pitching coach now. And the offense has been really good with additions like Dominic Smith and Mauricio Dubon. Mike Yastrzemski's been doing his thing too. These are parts at the bottom of the lineup, which I'm going to make a comparison to Choctaw baseball, but the bottom of the lineup has been able to bring this together so well, which when you think back to 2023 when they had, in my opinion, the greatest offense of all time, you think of Michael Harris in his rookie year was hitting 300 from the 9-hole spot, and now none of them are hitting 300 other than Dubon, whose batting average is sitting above 300. I don't think that'll be as sustainable as Michael Harris's was, but they're hot at the right times, and you're able to platoon these guys in, and we don't even have our starting shortstop. Up until this series against Philadelphia, Austin Riley wasn't really hitting like himself. Ronald Acuna Jr. still, he's been making up for it defensively, which is surprising because usually his range stats aren't that good. Usually uses his arm to compensate for what the knee injuries have done to him in his range in the outfield, but he's been holding his own defensively, and of course just having him in the lineup is threatening enough, although even though he's been one of the more unluckier hitters in the sport in terms of what balls are falling, what balls are going over the fence. We saw Brandon Marsh rob a homer from him in the first pitch.
First pitch of the game. Which made the ending of the Game 3 in Philadelphia that much more fitting.
It was really great, and I think part of that too is just Philadelphia. They're in one of those funks right now where honestly I don't think Philadelphia is going to make the playoffs. The Mets,
they're not in the Mets funk, that's for sure.
Yeah, the Mets are 0-11, and I saw this stat today. The Mets would have to have a higher winning percentage from here on out to make the playoffs than the Dodgers are predicted to have over the entire course of the season, which it's not going to happen. I don't think Mendoza's the guy. The Mets, they just don't have the right things coming together, and you can get the names, but that's not really going to help you out. Even the Dodgers, I think there is some bit of the managing there has been really good culturally, and that brings it together. The coaches as well, the
payroll brings it together.
Of course we see, but we see like the Dodgers coach goes to Miami and manages them, and the Marlins are still under 500, but they are performing better than anticipated. So it's really not all money, and of course I hate the Mets. I'd rather see it happen to no other team. The Phillies, it was just a result of not making enough offseason decisions. It seems like they kind of just got 1 year older and decided to roll out the same guys. I think their championship window's closed. I think they should have won it in 22 against the Astros if they really wanted to win one, and they had another opportunity in 23 whenever they beat the Braves, but they were unfortunately overcome by the hotter team in the Arizona Diamondbacks, who went on a crazy run and lost to the Rangers. But, yeah, this year has certainly been surprising. Braves still no series sweeps, but are the only team to have not lost a series yet this year. Obviously, that won't go over the entire course of the season, but
Braves leading in ERA, they're leading in total runs scored, and they're leading in run differential. So they've scored 122 runs. They've only allowed 65. That's a plus 57 run differential. For contrast, the Phillies have only scored 75. They've allowed 113. They have the highest negative run differential at negative 38. So that's saying a lot. You know who's got the second most runs scored behind the Braves?
Is it the Astros?
It's the Nationals.
The Nationals?
They've scored one less run than the Braves this year.
Are the Astros at 3?
The Dodgers are actually tied with the Nationals. The Astros, let's see here, Houston.
Because the Astros,
I keep looking for them in the National League. They're always going to be a National League team to me. Here we go. No, the Houston's in last place. For a last place team, they scored 121 runs as well.
I did see that. They were second coming into the series against Philadelphia. Houston was second in runs scored, but they were last in run differential.
Wow, yeah, 140 runs allowed, but their run differential is negative 19 because of how many runs they've scored. The Phillies have not scored. Their offense has not matched that output. But it's going to be interesting. The Braves play the Nationals tonight, and those are going to be two prolific offenses. We'll see if the Braves pitching can hold up. Bryce Elder is probably the biggest surprise of the season.
Yeah, and I think he's another result. He did some work with Greg Maddux in the offseason, which obviously that'll never hurt you. And I saw this funny article by Mac Bowman over at MLB.com. Mark Bowman, not Mac Bowman.
I was going to say, that's a pretty impressive job that Mac got there.
Mark Bowman wrote an article where Bryce Elder was kind of talking to Maddux, and he was like, yeah, this is my swing and miss pitch. I don't really, because he was trying to teach him a cutter. And he was like, well, I don't really want to mess with my slider. They have similar grips. I don't want to lose that muscle memory. And he was like, is that the pitch that you're going to really prioritize? I'm Greg Maddux. I think I know what I'm doing. And Bryce Elder, he's got a sub-1 ERA, second best in the sport other than Jose Soriano, who is just lights out. He's only given up one run, and it was a solo homer to Drake Baldwin. His ERA is sitting at like .28 right now. Elder in second at a .77. I don't think Elder's going to finish with an ERA below 2, but it's certainly been a great start, and that's where the depth comes in. That's the difference in stories between the Phillies and the Braves is the Phillies have a really good rotation. They have some great guys like Christopher Sanchez who are really good, but when they don't have the depth in the rotation to back them up, or when they don't have guys in the bullpen, which the Braves, I love the addition of Robert Suarez to the bullpen. I love the re-signing of Raisel Iglesias to the bullpen. Because right now it seems like if you have a lead by 1 or 2 runs going into the 7th or 8th inning, it gets increasingly harder to score against the Braves. And honestly, the showing Iglesias had, having to throw 20 pitches and put 2 runners on, is uncharacteristic for him. Usually he gets it done in 10 to 12 pitches. But, of course, it was a great catch out there by Ronald. And that's a perfect, summary. I have a friend who's a Phillies fan. He says that it seems like every single play has just not been going their way. And it's a perfect way to describe their season and a perfect way to describe the Braves season as well.
Now, since you're doing the Chalk Dog games, you are out quite a bit. You don't get a chance to watch the Braves live. Do you watch the entire games after the fact? Do you try to avoid the scores, or do you just watch highlights? I
throw the games up, actually. I'm going to go ahead and admit to it. I do throw the games up while I'm at the Choctaw games. It's a little bit of a mental trip up to not say the situation in the Braves game by accident, but some of the time I'll do that. I also have this app, which if you're a sports fan, I'd suggest getting it. It's called the Real Sports app, and it's like the easiest way to keep up with any sport. They have it all covered. And it tells you pitch by pitch what's happening. Every pitch, as soon as it's thrown, has like the miles an hour down to like the 10th of the mile an hour. Every pitch tells you immediately the launch angle, feet, miles an hour of the hit, the likeliness it was to get down, how many homers it would be in each ballpark or whatever. But that's usually how I keep up with it.
Now, we got about 30 seconds left here in this. Do you know, are stats like WAR calculated at high school level?
WAR are not. That takes in StatCast metrics, which obviously we don't have. They use StatCast at Major League stadiums with like hundreds of high-tech cameras to detect. Like WAR, for example, you have to cycle in defensive run saved, which we're not supposed to know where a fielder sets up because we don't have StatCast, so a little too complicated and above our pay grade.
Yeah, I mean, when I was collecting baseball cards as a kid, that was not a stat that was up there. OPS wasn't even big at that point. We were still on batting average and slugging at that point.
Yeah.
Here at Stearns and Brady Brooks here, hour number 1 is in the books of Fort Walton Beach, What We're Doing. We have an open phone line, 850-374-3468. Stick around. Hour number 2 is coming up. We'll be right back.
All right, let me give you a quick analysis of what's happening. His mic is now going into channel 2 here. Channel 1 is going to be that Zoom call. I'm going to disconnect this mic so that way you can only get the Zoom call audio and not both mics, since you said you have it split right now.
Okay. So will he be on microphone 1 or microphone 2 now?
He and Zoom call will be on microphone 2.
Okay, gotcha. So you're basically splitting his signal into there.
Right, and you can adjust the volume between here.
Okay.
So if you hear so once you get back on and it doesn't sound as loud as it used to be, just adjust. Right now he's on 2, and Zoom call is on 1.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. We're gonna try Michael in the next.
And it's either going to work or not work.
Okay, that's right. So we're gonna try you again in the next segment.
Yeah.
Do you have a Type-C charger over there?
I do.
It's not used. Let's see. Plug it in.
Do you want me to just plug your phone in over here? I got like mine was.
Yeah, it's nice. These flag games, they pay me $50 a day to do them, so it's
good.
like it compensates with not going to work.
Good deal.
One day off.
It's a lot of equipment, though, man.
It is.
It's a big old process for all this.
You know, how often would you say before games you like had a mess up with the board?
Every time.
I have not had one since.
I know.
That's
you got to
crazy.
teach me something.
You're transmitting, so just be mindful of what you say. Also, I'm not on.
But whatever you hear on the Zoom, you hear on the live stream.
You should hear on the live stream.
All right. How much time we got?
4 minutes.
4
4
minutes?
minutes.
Okay. So it has to make sense. The audio.
So like on the live stream right now, they can hear our voices.
The audio is just coming off.
Yeah, they were hearing you all
But you've got
chit-chat.
this muted, but it's still coming through the headphone jacks, right? Because the headphones are still good. That's why you're only muting your mics going out to the radio, so the radio hasn't been hearing all the conversation.
Okay.
But you guys can still talk to each other because we're taking the feed off the headphones.
Okay.
So what we need to figure out is where we can get a program out that's going out to your transmitter and feed that into Zoom. Does that make sense?
I mean, I understand English.
So in other words, whatever is going out to the radio is the only audio we should be sending to Zoom.
I'm just looking at like how much of a process this is. Is this even worth it?
Yes.
Once you get where you need to be,
Right, and
then you can
we're
hide
discovering-
everything and
we're
clean
discovering
it up.
everything.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. I needed that pep talk, coach.
Yeah. So you guys on YouTube, we're still testing this out. So you've been hearing all in the commercial spots and all that stuff. But by the time Patrona gets in here,
All right. Like butter.
yeah, and live stream from the.
I haven't picked my nose during the breaks, have I?
Yes, yes,
I
and
think you have.
just my beard, scratch your butt.
All right. So what are we gonna try to bring him in via Zoom in the next segment? Because
We're gonna see whether you can hear him. Yeah. So
yes.
you bring him in.
All right. So is there anything I need to do on my end?
No. No.
Okay. So it should just be ready to go.
Right.
Okay.
So let's hear. Put your headphones on and see whether you hear him and him. And if not, then we'll just
Well, I won't be able to hear him without turning on his mic, and then that would go over the air.
His mic is his mic.
Right.
Right.
And if I turn it on, anything they say will play over the commercials.
When we get back to live.
Right.
Is what I was talking about.
Gotcha.
Not right now. Do I keep that open or closed? We still got 3 minutes, right? I didn't know if you wanted the door open or closed.
No, I don't care.
All right. So he's number 2. He's number 1. This is what I use on the live sports broadcasts that I do.
Okay. So I
Can you hear me?
my buttons, though, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Can anybody hear me?
Control what's going out to the radio.
Attention.
Right.
Attention. Audio.
What?
The fan's blowing his hair up like this and it's showing up. That's what's showing up on YouTube. All right. So technically, this should work.
Technically, this should work.
I unmuted my mic and talked. Nobody could hear me?
No.
Probably because you got his volume down, right? Am I riding on his carrier?
No, because we haven't powered this mixer up yet.
Okay.
That helps. Now, are you hearing too much noise?
I hear something.
No, probably because you got his volume down, right? Riding on his carrier.
No.
Audio.
I'm hearing, like, is that going over the air? What I'm hearing in my headphones?
I didn't know what that was.
Because I'm hearing static. Not anymore.
Yeah, I just turned all the volume off. So
It was like very, very staticky. Someone's speaking, but it's extremely static.
Can anybody hear
I
me?
think that was your commercial break.
I don't think so. It sounded different. I don't know. We'll see.
Can anybody hear me? Hello?
That's my hometown.
You hear him?
Hello?
Welcome back to Fort Walton Beach. What we're doing, your daily dose of local. See, that's what happens when I press the button on RJ. You hear that? Let's end this experiment. Yeah, let's end that experiment real quick. We're trying to troubleshoot how to do Zoom. We're going to figure it out eventually, but we have until Thursday. We're going to be having Congressman Jimmy Petronas on the show, and he's going to be joining us via the phone. And while we could absolutely have it via the phone, no problem, we'd like to incorporate Zoom. We're going to try it again, RJ?
No.
Okay. All right. So we're good. I can turn on his mic.
I wish the video caught my reaction to when that turned on because I got the tar scared out of me there.
Yeah, me too. We'll get it figured out. It's you got to gain wisdom from your mistakes. So we've got a few more of those to go. So you're listening to For Walton Beach, what we're doing, and what we'll be doing in the next segment is giving David Weber a call,
Yes.
as opposed to
Phone
Zoom.
call.
Coach David Weber of Choctahatchee High School baseball team, the first district championship team since 2016, first time in 10 years, and it's the first year that Choctaw baseball has ever been put onto the air. Brady Brooks has been bringing it to you all season long on our sister station, 103.7, The Sports Ticket. Game's going to be this Friday against Baker County out of the Jacksonville area. They're making the 5-hour commute over to Andy Snaith Baseball Complex to get their whooping, hopefully.
Hopefully, yeah. Hopefully, it's the 8th seed, of course. It's the final ranked seed. Escambia finishes the 7th seed. We're really close to playing them for a 4th time this year, which I don't think my heart would have been able to handle that.
Yeah, but in baseball, you don't ever want that to happen. There's eventually you get people, the timing of people's swings down, and baseball is just a funky game, which makes the 22-5 record that much more impressive. The best managers in Major League Baseball history retire with a 66% percentage of wins.
Yeah.
Bobby Cox won 2 out of 3 games, and that was the best ever.
Yeah, it's you never go into a series expecting to sweep somebody. Baseball, you can always account for probably one game just being a mishap. Like I said, the one-game series are the scariest because you don't know what'll happen. You could easily slip one up. I believe Fort Walton Beach softball last year played a one-game series in their postseason, and they beat American Heritage, which just hopped Choctaw in the latest class rankings, so they hopped up to the 6th spot. Choctaw is sitting at 8 in the class. So, like I said, it won't matter once it comes to Final Four time because we're all going to be in the same complex anyways. But obviously, you got to beat the best to be the best. So, at that point in time, it'll just be about who's playing in the bottom of the inning and who's playing in the top.
I love it. Speaking of the top, one of the best divisions in Major League Baseball is the National League Central. And for many, many years, as I was growing up, they were kind of the laughing stock of Major League Baseball. You might have one halfway decent team, but and a bunch of just cellar dwellers. And that's not the case this year. Every single team in the National League Central has a winning record, and the last place team are the Cubs and the Brewers, and they are 3 games above 500. They're 12-9.
Yes, the Cubs just got done completing the sweep of the Mets. Ended up being a 11-game losing streak just so far for the Mets. The Cubs I'm a fan of, and the Brewers ever since they hired Counsell, I've been a fan of that program. They made the postseason last year, of course. And then the Cubs, I've been a fan. I haven't really supported or at least been so confident in their play as of late. I don't think they're a World Series team, but they are a good program. I really think the best team in that division is probably the Cleveland Guardians. They went to the ALCS a couple years ago, and I believe last year they played there as well against the Seattle Mariners against the Seattle Mariners in the DS before they played the Blue Jays. The Mariners and the Blue Jays, of course, the Blue Jays went to the World Series. I do think that Cleveland's the scariest team. Obviously, a big hit for them. They lost Emmanuel Clase last year after the sports gambling incident, which I was going over. My buddy, Jacob Reinierson, his brother-in-law, is a major league pitcher. His name's Tyler Holton. He pitches for the Tigers, and 2 years ago as a relief pitcher, he got an MVP vote from the sports writer, which is like very unheard of for a relief pitcher to do that. So I was looking back at ERAs a couple seasons ago, and I see he finished with like a 2.1 ERA. And Emmanuel Clase led the entire league in ERA with a .61, meaning if he were to pitch 9 innings, he'd give up less than a run, which is absolutely unheard of. As a reliever, it is so easy. Basically, how it's calculated for any position of pitcher is every 9 innings, you're giving up an average of blank runs. So it'll be innings divided by runs or runs divided by innings, whatever. So as a relief pitcher, obviously you come in and you don't have as many innings pitched as starters do that can dilute your earned run average down. So it's expected that the best relievers in the game have like a 2 or a 2.5 or even a 3. So for a .61, Emmanuel Clase was a first ballot Hall of Famer. This was a dominant closing pitcher. And he threw it all away for a couple $1,000s in betting, which it's so stupid to me.
Yeah, it's disgusting. You mentioned Craig Counsell earlier. He's not the batting coach, is he?
No,
he had one of the worst stances ever.
Yes, he did. Craig Counsell, he ended up managing. He was managing for the Brewers before he got fired, and then the Cubs signed him, which at the time he was the highest paid manager of all time. I believe that record has been refreshed, but that was a couple years ago.
Another big story, perhaps not getting as much love here on the East Coast, but San Diego Padres closer Mason Miller is off to an incredible start this year. Have you been following his performance?
Yes, 8 1/3 innings pitched, which means 25 outs that he has garnered this year. 20 of them have been strikeouts. A major league relief pitcher has not won the Cy Young Award since, I believe, the year 2003 when Eric Gagne won it. And Eric Gagne would throw a 69-mile-an-hour curveball and then throw 102 by your bat, and that is just unheard of.
Well, he was also questionably enhanced, right?
Everybody was. I give Barry Bonds the pitcher's review, so you can too. So I'm going to give Gagne the same thing. Either way, he was really good at what he did. And Mason Miller, it's a 3-pitch arsenal for him. He's got a fastball, a changeup, and a slider, which Spencer Strider started off his career with that same arsenal. And it was an expected result. He was a dude that garnered a lot of strikeouts, but once he got into the 4th, 5th, 6th innings of games, he'd give up runs. He ended up finishing with a 3.5, and then he decided he needed to add a curveball to keep hitters guessing. But Mason Miller is a reliever. He can live off that 3-pitch arsenal, and you could tell him, or you could tell somebody that his fastball's coming, and he can whiz it right by you. He does such a good job of it. His slider has so much bite. It's such an electric slider. And I saw him throw a front door slider to, I wish I could remember who it was. but he ducked out of the way to dodge it, and it just chipped the upper part of the zone for a strike. And it's like, he is a very, very dominant pitcher. As far as winning Cy Young, I don't know. That's a stretch. I think this is probably one of the most promising cases we've seen. I remember Edwin Diaz in 2022 was lights out. That's when the trumpets became a thing, and he was really, really good. But it is so hard to win Cy Young as a reliever because of the amount of I guess film time that starters are able to rack up. And when you look at guys like Tarek Skubal has won it the last 2 years. When you're able to rack up that many strikeouts and prolong it over a period of time, your argument becomes a heck of a lot stronger.
Well, we're going to be joined by Choctahatchee baseball coach David Weber in the next segment. You're listening to Fort Walton Beach, What We're Doing with Gareth Stearns and Brady Brooks. Be right back. We're going to pay off some of our sponsors. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with Coach Weber. Go Big Green.
So Frank never set a time for the game to cut off?
Yeah. So
would it just went till midnight or what?
No, well, I mean, once you went off, it just would have been dead air on the radio station. He didn't have anything set to replace it. Let me call Coach Webb. I'm gonna let you handle most of this if that's all right. You want to?
Go ahead.
What time does the flag football game start?
5, 6, and 7. It's 3 games.
What's up, Webb? How we doing? All right, I'm going to put you on. If it happens that you're talking and you start hearing music in the background, that means we have the segment's starting to end. That won't be till 12 minutes, though. It's a 12-minute segment, so. All right, and I'm going to let Brady handle most of it. I may pipe in here and there, but I'm going to let him handle it, all right? All right, thanks for doing this, Coach.
Are you on a break?
Yes, we have 1 minute. You can set that on here if you need to. That's how I usually do it, actually.
Well, I just wanted to see whether this looks up or not.
Yes, it does, at least from this end.
No, not the whole thing.
Oh, that, like this.
To see whether it lifts up, because we need to give you all the access to the mixer's outputs, and we can't see that because they're all blocked out.
Gotcha.
It's the weirdest. That's the biggest problem.
Yeah, that's a real hindrance, isn't it?
That's the main issue.
Okay.
I can't bring in their audio without losing the commercial spots on their YouTube.
We're getting ready to come back. And welcome back to Fort Walton Beach, What We're Doing, your daily dose of local news, community engagement, in-studio interviews with local movers and shakers, and sports and local history whenever we can squeeze it in. And we're going to squeeze in some sports with a local mover and shaker right now. Joining us in the Fort Walton Beach What We're Doing Studios phone line, our Miracle Strip Body Shop afternoon interview segment of the day is with Coach David Weber, the coach of the Choctahatchee baseball team, the district champions. Welcome to the show, Coach. Yes, sir. And with that, I'm going to turn this interview over to Brady Brooks, voice of the Choctahatchee Indians baseball team.
What's up, Coach Webb? How you doing? I'm glad to have you on. So I've had the pleasure of following you in probably about 25 or so of our 27 games that we've played this year. But for the people who haven't, and the normal day-to-day listeners of Fort Walton Beach, What We're Doing, tell us about what kind of things have been going on for the team to have a turnaround from an 18-15 final record last year to now you're 22-5 going into the postseason. Yeah, and I want to ask you about two players specifically. So when you talk improvement or you talk about maybe maturity, you think about sophomore Jack Morocco, who's in his second year of high school ball, and he was one of the better hitters on the team. He led the team in batting average. And then about Seth Young, your catcher, who has massively cut down his strikeout rate, knock on wood, and he led the team in homers with 3 this year. I think those two have either been the most vastly improved or the most maturing players. What can you say about them? And of course, you took over the program 3 years ago. I don't believe that it got out of the district tourney last year. You made it to the Sweet 16 this year, and now you got higher hopes coming into this year. I know that you and Coach Dustin, you have family relations. And of course, I know that you have Coach Sean Wishleski and Todd Harrell that have been more recent additions. Tell us about the coaching staff. Yeah, you have lots of brothers. With you and Coach Dustin, we have Parker and Carter Powell, Jack and Carter Morocco, Jack and Brody Harrell, lots of brothers and their fathers on the coaching staff. Coach Weber, the FHSAA bracket release came out at about 1:30 today. You're going to be facing a team you did not face this season, Baker County, coming from around the Jacksonville area. I have it that the players kind of knew of the team as a possible opponent. Have you guys as coaches done any in-depth scouting so far? Yeah, it definitely looks like the pitching has been what's gotten them this far, squeezing in as the 8th seed in the region. I kind of danced around it, but I got to ask you about the game that took place on Friday. It was a district championship game, resulted in the first district championship win for the Choctaw Indians since 2016. It started off rough, to be honest with you. It was a single homer to start the game, but Trevor Camden locked down, and I think that was kind of a testament to how this Indians pitching staff has been. There's been a lot of pleasant surprises for the starting rotation and even into the bullpen this year. Yeah, he was able to strike out 12, and after that 3-run homer, he struck out 5 consecutive hitters. dating to finish that first inning and into the second. And to completely flip it, the offense, they didn't have a hit until 2 outs into the fourth inning. We've seen this offense, as I put it, they score in spurts at times. We've seen plenty of 3, 4, 5-run innings. All started with a 2-out base knock by Maddox Gentry. Coach Weber, what I have to say about the lineup is it is so incredibly deep. When you have at the 7-hole, John Brown, a freshman who hit 400 on the year, Maddox Gentry, who I think if he started the year, he probably wouldn't be hitting 8-hole, but he's been there since he came back, and it's worked great. Everybody in this lineup can hit. It doesn't seem like there's any dead spots. Yeah, it's been really cool to watch a team that can hit home runs but doesn't need to. We had 6 people hit homers on the year, all the top 6 in the lineup. And even ranging to 7, John Brown, I've seen him hit some pretty deep fly balls. I'm sure they'll come. So on the game on Friday, I mean, it goes into the 7th inning. It's a blown save, whatever. But going into extra innings, you've only played 1 extra inning game up to this point. It was a shootout loss to New Albany. How do you make sure that your players don't kind of sweat it over? I understand that it was thought of a lot amongst the community that this felt like a game that Choctaw could win in dominating fashion. Is it just kind of a reset mindset once you go into that 8th inning? Yeah, last question for me, and then I'll see if Gareth has something to say. It really was cool to see you could obviously tell there was a lot of excitement when I remember Rocco's 2 RBI single, dude sliding into home plate, getting up and chest bumping, Seth Young's 2 RBI single. The last play was probably the most exciting. First of all, the game at any level, and you've coached a lot and watched even more, so I don't know if this will be the same for you, but that was the most crazy, emotional roller coaster, special game of baseball that I think I've ever watched in my life. What was going through your mind on that final play where one-kneed Jack Morocco lined one down the left field line and Bullet Blake Peters came flying around to third base?
I'll go right along with everything you said. I've seen a lot of baseball games, and I've coached a lot of them, played in them, watched them recruiting. And, dude, you know, when I was in college, I watched a lot of baseball, and that is the most insane one I've ever been a part of. I mean, not even from terms of how pretty it was, but in terms of the fight from both teams, the fight mainly, you know, at the end from us, and just the special moments that showed up. You know, Blake Peters had a pulled quad. Jack Morocco had a pulled hamstring. Jack Morocco goes base hit down the line essentially with one leg. It turns into a double, and everybody comes around, and Blake's running on a pulled quad and ends up scoring from first. It was amazing. I'll be honest. The whole thing kind of felt in slow motion. I don't know, you know, if you felt that on the radio, but sometimes when I'm coaching, it's like the whole game. You can see it unfolding in slow motion. It was really, really cool, and it was an awesome, special moment for everybody. I think for all the fans, for the players, just for everyone. It was very cool.
Coach, I can tell you as a listener on the radio, it was an incredible experience listening to Brady's call. We've got about 30 seconds left in this segment. What do you think about Brady bringing Chalkahatchee baseball back onto the airwaves?
Brady's done a fantastic job, man. I think he knows the players. He knows the game. He's as good as baseball guy as I've met. For his age especially, he's way beyond his years of what he understands and how good he does of a job on the radio. But he is a fantastic baseball guy. He's done an awesome job on the radio. I get compliments all the time on Brady Brooks. He's done a fantastic job.
I appreciate the compliments, Coach.
I agree. Coach, thank you so much for giving us a little bit of your time. We can hear the pinging of the baseball bats in the background. We don't want to take up any more. Please don't be a stranger to the show, my friend.
Thank you, guys. Y'all have a good one.
Yes, sir. Go Big Green. All right. We have an open phone line, 850-374-3468. Listen to Fort Walton Beach, what we're doing. Brady Brooks has to take a step away to call a flag football game. Gareth is going to stick around. Don't go anywhere.
Fox News, I'm John Saucier. Police in Louisiana say a father shot his wife, 8 children, and another woman in Shreveport Sunday, killed those children before himself was shot and killed by the police. Shreveport Police Chief Wayne Smith says he believes this was not this particular suspect's first domestic violence incident.
Usually domestic violence extends over a period of time. There are multiple incidents, and eventually it leads up to maybe similar violence that we saw this past weekend.
There was gun violence in Winston-Salem, North Carolina this morning at a park. 2 people killed after a planned fight between juveniles turned into a shootout. 5 other people were injured. Winston-Salem Assistant Chief Jason Swaim said the 2 juveniles agreed to meet at the park to fight. He said a firearm was discharged during said fight that resulted in multiple victims being shot. He said schools nearby the park were safe and parents could pick their children up at a local middle school. America's listening to Fox News.
Hello, everyone. This is Ainsley Earhart. Thank you for joining me for the 52-episode podcast series, The Life of Jesus.
Neil McDonough portrays Jesus. Stacey Keach, Sean Astin, Michael York, and Kristen Bell provide the voices for some of Jesus' notable followers. A listening experience that will provide hope, comfort, and understanding of the greatest story ever told, The Life of Jesus.
Make sure to spread the word.
Listen and follow now at foxnewspodcasts.com or wherever you listen to podcasts. From the Fox News Podcasts Network.
This is Jason Chaffetz from the Jason in the House podcast. Join me every Monday to dive deeper into the latest political headlines and chat with remarkable guests to hear their take on American life, politics, and entertainment. And don't forget, there's always somebody doing something stupid somewhere.
Listen and follow now at foxnewspodcast.com
or wherever you download podcasts.
Must listen to podcasts from Fox.
With Omni Broadcasting News, brought to you by McCaskill & Company, I'm Frankie Bennett. This weekend, a 59-year-old man from Gulf Breeze was killed in a traffic accident on U.S. Highway 90 in Okaloosa County. Florida Highway Patrol officials say the vehicle was traveling east on Highway 90 near Cooper Lane when it left the roadway and continued east on the shoulder. The vehicle then struck several mailboxes, a utility pole, and overturned multiple times. The driver was ejected and declared deceased on the scene. Destin, Fort Walton Beach Natural Resources have installed new signs at Marler Park, Liza Jackson, and Joe's Bayou, urging boaters to slow down for sea turtles. According to Florida State researchers, 1 in 4 sea turtles found dead or injured in Florida were hit by a boat. So let's slow down for sea turtles. With Omni Broadcasting News, brought to you by McCaskill & Company, I'm Frankie Bennett.
The place to be for bold flavors and good times is Pepper's Mexican Grill and Cantina. From sizzling fajitas to mouth-watering tacos, Pepper serves up the best Mexican food on the Emerald Coast. Now, Pepper's introduces their new Fuerte Lager, a clean, crisp, and refreshing beer available in draft or can. And margaritas always taste best when made with smooth, bold Pepper's signature tequila. So grab your amigos, raise a glass, and spice up your night at Pepper's. Pepper's Mexican Grill and Cantina in Shalimar, Niceville, Berryester, Crestview, and Destin, where flavor meets fiesta.
People don't realize that glaucoma is one of the leading causes of blindness.
Because there are often no early symptoms, nearly half of those with glaucoma may not even know they have it until vision loss has occurred.
I was diagnosed with normal tension glaucoma in July of 2020.
And what we found out at that point was I had already lost 40% of my sight. You think it only affects people that are, 75 or older, retired, grandparents, and that's not the reality of it.
I didn't think at all glaucoma was going to affect me because I didn't know of anyone that had glaucoma, no one in my family. When you have glaucoma, you can't get back that sight that you lost. And so early detection and treatment is vitally, vitally important.
Don't miss life's most beautiful moments. Schedule an eye exam today.
National Glaucoma Research, a bright, focused foundation program, offers free resources and tips for healthy vision.
Learn how to protect your sight at stopglaucoma.org.
The National Institute on Drug Abuse presents a tale about the dangers of drugs entitled Jack and Jill. Jack and Jill went up the hill. Jack said, Jill, let's take these pills. Jill said, Jack, that sounds mad chill. So they took the pills. Then things got ill. Jill got dizzy, and so did he. They both got busy and felt so free. Never did it occur that the other may be the one infected with HIV. When you use drugs, there's no happy ending. Keep your body healthy. Don't use drugs. Check out drugabuse.gov for the real story.
And welcome back to Fort Walton Beach, What We're Doing. And what we're doing right now is we're going to test out this Zoom call again with Michael Tucker, who's actually in the next room. And I'm going to go ahead and look, no feedback, so that's good. Number one, can you hear me, Michael Tucker? I cannot hear him, RJ.
Unmute. He needs to unmute his mic.
Unmute. And Michael's trying to...
How about now? How about now?
I still hear nothing.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Audio.
Man. This is the perils and pitfalls of live radio, ladies and gentlemen. I'm glad we're doing this with Michael Tucker and not with Congressman Jimmy Petronis, who, this is the whole reason we're trying to incorporate this production element, trying to amp up our game here. Obviously, we can get Petronis on the phone on Thursday, but
1, 2, 3
incorporated with a via video live stream as well. So we're just kind of going through the rest of the show here. We were going to do it via Zoom. If you're listening on the radio, you wouldn't have noticed any difference. But I guess we can bring him over here now, or. Yeah, RJ Murdoch from Emerald Coast TV. I want to thank him for not just being here in the studio today and troubleshooting everything in the background, but we've been doing this since 10 o'clock.
1, 2, 3.
He's brought in this 360 degrees camera, a whole bunch of accoutrement in the technical world, and it's just spaghetti wires everywhere here to try to improve the production value of the live stream experience. He's actually going to be setting up this week on Okaloosa Island for the volleyball tournament, the multi-day volleyball tournament this week. And he's asked to do a lot of stuff around town. He did the junior college basketball championships. He films the Greater Fort Walton Beach Chamber of Commerce First Friday coffees and events around town, parades, all sorts of things like that. He's got that look on his face, like the aha, like the old Jewish guy in the barber shop from Coming to America. What about Rocky Marciano?
Oh, hello.
I'm hearing the feedback again now.
Hello.
I can kind of hear him a
Hello.
little bit. But
Hello.
It's also very feedbacky. There, I can hear you.
Bring the gain down on this one a little bit.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Hello. 1, 2, 3.
Now I'm getting. Did you hear that echo now?
1, 2, 3.
Okay, you're live, but I'm also hearing like
Bring the
IFB.
gain down on this one a little bit.
See, it's like
One,
a 10
there's a delay.
Hello?
So I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. They're going to end that experiment. We'll figure it out. Good thing that we're
Can you
doing
hear
it
me
today
now?
and not Thursday with the good Congressman Jimmy Petronis. We may end up having to do him by phone the same way we did Coach Weber in the last segment. I want to thank Brady Brooks for giving me an hour and a half. He is on his way to call a flag football game for Pryor Middle School now. Against Flagler, I think is that what or maybe no, flag was just a shortened version of flag football. Either way, he's doing a Pryor flag football game, and that's really cool to see that sport taking off in and around Okaloosa County. Yeah, when I turn his mic back on, I still hear that feedback, that staticky feedback in the background. So now it's not. If whatever you just did, now it's off now. We need to Yeah. We'll have to get a filter for that. Either way, Michael, if you want to step up to the microphone, we can. Yep. Let's talk about today. Many of you are celebrating today for various reasons. It's Earth Day. It's lots of big events have happened around the world throughout history on April 20th. Of course, it's 420 Day as well. So lots of different ways that you can celebrate it. Some big events that have happened throughout history. In 1770, Captain James Cook makes his first recorded landing on the east coast of Australia, near present-day Botany Bay, if you're familiar with that part of the world, marking a key moment in European exploration of the continent. In 1809, Napoleon Bonaparte defeats Austrian forces at the Battle of Abensberg during the War of the Fifth Coalition. In 1889, Adolf Hitler is born in Braunau am Inn, Austria. A lot of people think that the anniversary of the Columbine shooting, which took place in 1999 on this date, is tied to that Hitler birthday, that Dylan Klebold and Eric Harris may have chosen that day with specificity because of perhaps it being tied to Adolf Hitler's birthday. Boston Red Sox in 1912 played their first game at Fenway Park, home of the Green Monster, one of the most iconic venues in sports history. In 1916, the Chicago Cubs played their first game at Wrigley Field, which was then called Weeman Park. In 1918, Manfred von Richthofen, also known as the Red Baron, scores one of his final aerial victories in World War I. And he would be killed the following day. Mid-20th century news, 1945, April 20th, as World War II neared its end, Adolf Hitler celebrated his final birthday in a bunker in Berlin. 1949, the Republic of Ireland Act goes into effect, officially making Ireland a republic and leaving the British Commonwealth. In 1972, the Apollo 16 lunar module lands on the moon, with astronauts John Young and Charles Duke beginning exploration of the lunar highlands. In 2008, American sprinter Usain Bolt runs one of his early record-setting races. I said American sprinter. He was from Jamaica, wasn't he? Jamaican sprinter Usain Bolt runs one of his early record-setting races, helping set the stage for his dominance in global track and field. In 2010, the Deepwater Horizon oil spill begins in the Gulf after an offshore drilling explosion, one of the largest environmental disasters in U.S. history. And that's your news around the world throughout history on April 20th on this date. So happy 420, everybody.
What does that mean?
Yeah, what does that mean, Michael Tucker?
I'm not sure.
Yes, Michael Tucker, welcome to This Side of the Glass. I appreciate you being a part of the production hits and misses today. We're going to gain wisdom from all of those shortcomings and just get a little bit better tomorrow and throughout the week. We certainly do appreciate RJ Murdoch being here and sharing his knowledge of all things production and trying to turn a little old radio show, turn the volume up to 11 on it and enhance the experience for you. I appreciate you being here today, and it looks like you're going to be my co-host tomorrow as well, right?
I think so.
Yay! Looking forward to that. We're going to have some musicians in the studio tomorrow. My good friends Tim and Rusty Morinelli are going to be in the studio tomorrow. Yeah, they tour around the Panhandle, and I guarantee you recognize them if you ever go out to eat or
yeah, sounds familiar.
And we're also going to be joined in studio by Dr. Jeff Risley of Coastal Vascular and Interventional. It's been about a month or so since we caught up with the good doctor. So it'll be a fun, rip-roaring episode. Wednesday, we're going to be joined in studio by Dooney Tickner, local historian. We're going to have some phone interviews lined up with some Fort Walton Beach old-timers to share their oral histories. And on Thursday, we're going to have Congressman Jimmy Petronas joining us via phone. And in studio on that day, we're going to be joined, my co-host will be Ashley Sikowski, and we will be joined in studio by Okaloosa County Sheriff Eric Aiden as well. So
very nice.
Yes. So if you are a longtime resident, or if you have a parent that is still of sound mind and they are sharp as a tack and can share their oral history of what it was like growing up in old Fort Walton or depending on how old they are, what it was like working in Fort Walton back in 50, 60 years ago. We'd love to capture that oral history and share it here on the show. And where else are you going to do that? Every time one of our elders dies, the library of personal information that person has collected throughout their lived years dies along with them. So why not go ahead and capture some of those oral histories and for posterity? And this is the show to do it. We have an open phone line, 850-374-3468. Again, 850-374-3468. Gareth Stearns and Michael Tucker are going to close it out with you. We have one more segment to go, and we're going to probably talk a little bit of local news in that next segment, which, of course, is brought to you by Jimmy's Guns and Safes. Big selection, bigger peace of mind. For Walton Beach, what we're doing, I'll be right back.
Visit the experts in authentic Chinese cuisine at Shen Noodle Place. Discover authentic Chinese flavors with a menu that boasts delicious hand-pulled noodles, savory dumplings, and flavorful stir-fries, all crafted to perfection. Feast on appetizers, platters, or one of the awesome sizzling clay pot or Szechuan dry pot masterpieces. And noodles is our name, with stir-fry noodles featuring 7 protein options and gourmet noodle soups that will make you come back for more. Come see us on Eglin Parkway, across from Uptown Station. Dine in or order delivery on our website at shennoodleplacerestaurant.com.
I'm Okaloosa County Sheriff Eric Aiden. Right now, Florida, including Okaloosa County, is losing lives to opioid overdoses. Many of those lives are lost after just one pill. Never take pills given to you from friends, family, or anyone you don't know. One pill can kill. That's because counterfeit pills often contain deadly fentanyl. One mistake can cost you your life. Only take medication prescribed by a licensed medical professional. Free Narcan is available through the Okaloosa County Health Department. This warning could save your life or someone you love. Stay safe and report suspicious activity to law enforcement.
What does life after service look like? Kicking back? Taking it easy? We believe it looks a little different. It looks like leading for all veterans, helping shape policies to make certain they get the benefits they've earned, and ensuring every veteran's voice is heard. It looks like advancing to meet today's veterans where they are, lifting them up and strengthening the bond that unites us. It looks like serving when disaster strikes, with boots on the ground helping our communities recover and rebuild. From the capital to our hometowns, we don't just show up when it's easy, we show up when it matters. Because a veteran's mission never truly ends, and neither does ours. The VFW, still leading, still advancing, still serving. Get involved at stillserving.org.
And welcome back to Fort Walton Beach, What We're Doing. You're listening to Gareth Stearns, the nostalgia guy, and joining me for this last segment and for my co-host tomorrow, Mr. Michael Tucker, DJ Michael T.
That's beautiful. I appreciate the introduction, sir. I really do.
Yeah, I'm glad that you're in the studio, and yes, the cameras are working there. I just saw it switch over.
Did it switch over?
Yep.
Oh.
So it's just a matter of talking long enough for that to happen. Thank you again to RJ Murdoch for leaving this 360 degrees camera in here so that the live stream, every time I stop talking and the other person in the room begins, it just sort of automatically recognizes the other person's voice and switches without any sort of buttons being pushed. It's amazing. Let's talk a little local news for Monday, April 20th, brought to you by Jimmy's Guns and Safes. Big selection, bigger peace of mind. The lowest price for gasoline currently reported, $3.49 at Texaco on Racetrack Road. It's the first time that Texaco has shown up on my gas reports. I don't know if it's a special that they're doing over there, but it's that location that's right next to that new Hawaiian restaurant, the old Burger King on Racetrack Road, right next to that. They were at $3.49. Sam's Club, which is normally the bottom dweller in terms of gas pricing, they're up at $3.57. Lots of stations found hovering in that upper $3.50 realm. The current Florida average is $3.95 per gallon, and that is a 13-cent drop from Friday. So We're moving in the right direction
I like it.
gas-wise there. Yeah, the leaders in the state of Florida are also trying to give drivers some relief at the gas pump. The Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services issued an emergency order allowing the sale of winter-grade gasoline during the summer months for 90 days, beginning on May 1st. Winter-grade gas is less expensive to produce. Normally, the summer blend is required because it's less likely to evaporate in heat, which helps reduce smog and air pollution. So we're still gonna have the winter gas, and I guess we're gonna have a little bit more smog and air pollution as an offset.
Okay.
I guess I'm good with that. My wallet's okay with that.
Sure.
Okaloosa County is stepping up sea turtle protection ahead of nesting season. New safety signs have been installed at 3 local boat ramps, reminding boaters to slow down and watch for turtles in nearshore waters, where they're most vulnerable to strikes. The signs are part of a broader effort by the county's coastal resource team to reduce human impact during peak nesting months. Sea turtles are federally protected, and boat collisions remain one of the leading threats in shallow coastal areas. I don't think I've ever seen a sea turtle, now that I think about it. Outside of the Gulfarium, obviously.
Really?
I don't think I've ever seen one swimming in our local waters or anything like that.
I think if you go to the pier enough, you'll see a few.
Yeah?
Yep.
They'll appear?
At the pier.
All right.
The pier.
The pier. A Shalimar teen is giving back to the community and helping local wildlife at the same time. For his Eagle Scout project, 15-year-old Nolan Henderson built a pollinator garden at the Valparaiso Library designed to attract bees, butterflies, and other essential species. The project included planting native vegetation and creating a space that's both educational and environmentally beneficial for visitors. Eagle Scout projects are required to benefit the community and often focus on conservation and public spaces just like this one. The new garden now provides a lasting resource for both wildlife and residents visiting the library. So thank you, Nolan Henderson. That's really cool of you. And Eagle Scout at 15 is pretty impressive.
That's impressive. Yep.
Were you a scout?
I was.
I gave up at Life, which is the one right before Eagle Scout. Talk about like doing all the work and then just like, nah,
Well,
I'm good.
I was in Cub Scouts. I shouldn't say. I don't know what level. I know we did the Pinewood Derby and everything.
Oh, yes.
And I probably got out midway through elementary school, graduated to nunchucks, and started hitting pine trees with nunchucks, and the rest is history.
Oh, okay.
World champion nunchucker.
All right. Learn something new every day about you. Okaloosa County is set to open the long-awaited Southwest Crestview Bypass on May 1st, with a ribbon-cutting ceremony scheduled for 9 a.m. on a new bridge near Highway 90 and Enzer Road. The $212 million project, funded through a mix of local, state, and Triumph Gulf Coast dollars, is designed to ease traffic congestion and improve access across Crestview. The bypass is expected to open to drivers by noon May 1st, connecting Antioch Road, State Road 85, and US 90. The new roadway will provide much-needed relief for growing traffic demands. Will it solve everything? No. Will it put a dent? Perhaps. Same as the New Brooks Bridge. Perhaps.
What's for dinner tonight?
What is for dinner tonight?
That needs to be a new segment here.
You know what?
What's for dinner tonight, Gareth?
Thank you. You know what? If you're a restaurant out there that would like to sponsor the brand new "What's for Dinner Tonight" segment that Michael Tucker just threw at the wall, I think that's going to stick. Actually, I like that. You know what? We'll have to form a whole segment around this. You know,
I like it.
What the
I
big
like
specials are. That's great. I like it.
Because seeing how we end right about the 5 o'clock hour, you know, we're thinking, hey, it's time to put something in the belly.
Yes, indeed. I am getting a little hungry. Speaking of hungry, 3 teens were apparently hungry this weekend for ice cream, because that's what they were getting into over at Big Kahuna's Water and Adventure Park after hours. 3 teens facing charges after a burglary at Big Kahuna's in Destin. The suspects are accused of breaking into the park and stealing items, with law enforcement later identifying and charging all 3 individuals. Authorities have not released additional details on the extent of the damages, but the case remains under investigation. Officials are reminding the public that even after hours, properties are monitored and criminal activity will be pursued. If people could put trail cameras out in the middle of nowhere, I imagine they could put some sort of motion detector on the water slides at Big Kahuna's.
It's a possibility.
Aren't you glad they didn't have those back in our day?
Man, I'm glad a lot of things weren't around back in my day.
Let's pick one. The statute of limitations has run out. What's something that's mild but fun to talk about? Like, what was one dumb thing that you did back in the day?
We borrowed a motorcycle that didn't belong to us.
Did you return it?
What's today?
It's 420.
Okay.
Okay. So there's still time, is what you're telling me.
There's still time.
All right. Yeah. That's a good one. That's a good one. The Okaloosa County Board of County Commissioners will be holding a regular meeting on Tuesday, April 21st. This is tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. in the board chambers at the Okaloosa County Administrating Building in Shalimar. And not to be outdone, the City of Fort Walton Beach City Council will hold a special meeting to discuss potential amendments to the city charter regarding the method of electing the mayor and 7 members of the city council. The charter currently provides for all 8 members to be elected at large by the voters of the city. The discussion will include consideration of a proposal to change the current at-large system to a hybrid system consisting of single-member districts and at-large seats. Discussion may also include other options or alternatives, including maintaining the current at-large system. The time and location tomorrow night, 5 p.m., Tuesday, April 21st, at the Fort Walton Beach City Hall Council Chambers. So you could start your morning at 8:30 at the Okaloosa County Administration Building in Shalimar and get your Okaloosa County Board of County Commissioners kicks in with a meeting there. And then you could end it with a rip-roaring, riveting City of Fort Walton Beach City Council meeting tomorrow night at the Fort Walton Beach City Hall Council Chambers. So
that sounds good.
Lots of options to wet your local governance whistles. Whistles. Back in my day, back in our day, do you remember learning the phonics with the H sound before the W?
Yeah, but you know, it's been a lot of days and nights in between that lesson, so
yeah,
I don't remember what they said. It was blah 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 blobbity blah. Yeah, the little
from
Peanuts.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Starting today, Florida is rolling out major changes to SNAP benefits, what many still call food stamps. Oh, snap. As of April 20th, today, recipients can no longer use those benefits to buy soda, energy drinks, candy, or prepackaged desserts like snack cakes. State officials say the goal is to push spending toward healthier, more nutritious foods, but the changes are already sparking debate. Supporters say it promotes better diets, while critics argue it limits choice and could make shopping more complicated at checkout.
It could.
It is important to note, benefit amounts are not changing, just what those dollars can be used for. So while you cannot buy the sugary pre-made cake, I believe you could still buy like a cake mix with it and eggs and butter and all the things and actually make your own cake. So there are still healthier ways to produce a cake that SNAP will still support, but it's just an attempt to cut out the processed foods and all the.
You know what I'm excited about?
Yeah.
Really
Like
excited. Billy Bowlegs is coming.
Oh yes, it is. It is indeed. Are you got your outfit all ready?
I got my itinerary already. Looks like Thursday, May 14th. It kicks things off at 4 to 6. The Little Scallywags Meet the Pirates with Downtown Merchants is happening on Miracle Strip Parkway. Again, that's Thursday, May 14th. Get the Little Scallywags all gathered up. Be careful. There's, streets all around, so just, tell them to be careful.
I know this is your time of year. You live for this.
I love Billy Bowlegs. I love Billy Bowlegs.
Yeah, it's going to be a multi-day festival. In fact, we are going to be providing a lot of the coverage for it. News Talk 94.3 and our sister station K-Rock 100.3. We're excited to provide the coverage for the 70th Billy Bowlegs Pirate Festival featuring Captain Billy and his 70th Air Raiders Honor Guard. And like Michael said, the festival begins on Thursday, May 14th. There's the pre-invasion in downtown Fort Walton Beach. It's a family-friendly event. Captain Billy and his crew bring the Black Hawk downtown, meet with locals, take photos of the kids, hand out beads, cups, other loot. Then Friday, 15th of May, the festival turns up the heat with the Skirmish. That's when Captain Billy and some of his crew arrive by water. Arr. That's right. Maybe this year the mayor will get the comeuppance. Is this the first year that Nick Allegretto has done it, or was he there last year? I don't know. You never know. When you get a new mayor, there's new possibilities. Hey, that ending of the show has snuck up on me. That's always a good thing when I've got stuff I did not cover and can carry over to the next day. And the next day we will carry over, ladies and gentlemen. For Walton Beach, what we're doing is done for tonight. I hope everyone has a pleasant evening. We'll be back same place, same time, same channel tomorrow. FM News Talk 94.3 at 3 p.m. tomorrow. Gareth Stearns and Michael Tucker signing off.
Peace.
Have a great evening.
From the Magnolia Grill Studios, this is 94.3 FTW, WTKE HD3, W232CF, Fort Walton Beach's News Talk.
Fox News, I'm Tom Graham. An Iranian woman living in the U.S. now in custody. She's accused of selling weapons to Tehran.
Shamim Mafi was allegedly making millions from arms deals, but she is facing up to 20 years in prison if convicted. The criminal complaint accuses her of brokering the sale of, quote, armed unmanned aerial vehicles, bombs, bomb fuses, assault weapons, and millions of rounds of ammunition.
Fox's Jonathan Hunt. Police in North Carolina say a planned fight between two young people in Winston-Salem in a